put me. I was being drugged and abused in their care. And now that I'm an adult, they have my children. And they told me before I aged out of foster care, like, if I ever had children, they would make sure that I never got to, if I ever had children, they would take them from my arms at the hospital.
How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. I'm Cynthia Becker, and I'm with Attorney Vince Davis and Attorney Connie Reguli. Are you both ready for another question?
Definitely.
Sure.
Okay, we're going to take another call from Tamby in Montana. I hope I pronounced that right.
You did.
Oh, awesome. Do you have a question for the attorneys tonight?
So I have more of a story, and I will try to break it down as short as I possibly can. But CPS has been in my life since I was very, very young. I was so deep in the system that I was put in group homes because they had nowhere else to put me. I was being drugged and abused in their care. And now that I'm an adult, they have my children. And they told me before I aged out of foster care, like, if I ever had children, they would make sure that I never got to, if I ever had children, they would take them from my arms at the hospital. So they've actually done that. So what ended up happening in my first case, while I was pregnant, several reports to Child and Family Services came in about me because I was picking up my life. I got a little disarray before I got pregnant and bonded with people I shouldn't have, got myself in trouble, and I was trying to live a better lifestyle. And they didn't like that. So they would call in making false reports about me, even family members that I was trying to get out of my life because they weren't good people were making reports about me and having other people do it as well. Well, by the time I was 9 months pregnant, I was told that there was an open pending case against me with Child and Family Services. And I was being held hostage at this home, and I wasn't being allowed to leave until I called 911, and the police officer told them that they had to let me go and that I was safe and my baby was safe. Well, then 10 minutes into going into labor the next day, the hospital had gotten red flagged me in the hospital, and they called Child and Family Services. 2 days later in the hospital, CPS workers came to visit me and threatened me and forced me to sign paperwork I did not want to sign. And I was not allowed to read any of the paperwork. I did not know my rights. They made me feel like I had none. And I was afraid because I grew up with Child and Family Services. They took my kid. Obviously, they acted like I had no rights whatsoever. A lot of the reports and what they were saying were lies and untrue. Even the stuff that the workers would make up things that weren't true and fabricate and twist my situation to fit what they wanted. So by the time the first court hearing came, the judge deemed me innocent and said that when my son, because my son ended up back in the hospital, and my son was diagnosed with failure to thrive because he was allergic to its formula and he was refusing to eat, and I took him to the doctor. Well, the doctor flipped it on me and said that I'm so disabled that I starved my kid, but I didn't. And my son was taken from me in the hospital.
When did this happen, Tabby?
Well, that case is closed. I had 2 cases with Child and Family Services, and my oldest son is 4 years old. They tried to threaten me into signing my son away to them, but by then I already knew my rights and I refused. They said that if I didn't sign my son away, I could never see him ever again, and I would never be able to have future children. So when I had my youngest, they ripped him from the hospital.
You know, I want to jump in and say, I don't know if you're aware, I do a show. It's called the reality series, CPS The Horror Stories. It's on social media. And Vince and Connie, I want to tell you, I hear this type of story a lot. When people grow up in the system and they have children, CPS is on their butts, knocking on their door and taking their kids from the hospital as soon as they have them, threatening them, just like this story. What do you guys think about this?
Yeah, and I will say, I mean, I've seen the same thing happen, and then when I see the petition that they have filled out, their petition said the cause for removal is, quote-unquote, prior history with CPS. I mean, that's what they put in their petition as to why the child is at risk of harm. It's horrible. This just breaks my heart. And when I do public presentations and I say that foster care does not work, I say that, you know, we know now, the history shows that if you were in the foster care system, you're more likely to go to jail. You're more likely to not have a job. You're more likely to be homeless. You're more likely to be a drug addict. And most of all, you're more likely to have your own children taken. And this is horrible. I will say, I don't know where you are in Montana, and I have been up there. I've been to Montana. I went and I spoke to some people there. And if Cindy gets your name and number, there is a good family advocate system up there. I can't promise you anything, but I know that they do work, reach out and work with families. So,
I am working with them. They're called the Child Protection Alliance, but they're not lawyers, but they can kind of tell you, go do this, go do that. And I've been told several times to report, to file motions, to sign all these things, because my lawyer isn't doing his job. And he just allows things to happen even in front of his face. And even in court, they wouldn't allow me to speak or stand up for myself. And I had gotten upset and immediately went to my lawyer. And my lawyer's like, I can't do anything about it. You're just mad because they wouldn't let you speak. And he said that in an email. And I've been threatened retaliation from CPS if I try to do something like this, like speak to you guys or speak to like the news or something. They threatened me that I would be in deep, deep trouble if I tried to get help. And every time I do something that I'm told to do that will help my case, it ends up making my case worse because I upset them in some way. I can't see any of my children now, and I want them home.
Tammy, you know, the things that you're saying cause me great concern, and you might be a perfect candidate for filing these administrative complaints with the Department of Health and Human Services and
Well, I've tried. They ignore it, or they come back to me and they're like, oh, well, we're sorry, we can't help you, even after telling them that I've been threatened by the workers and that CPS workers have gotten in my face.
Okay, Tammy, I want you to tell me yes or no. Have you filed a complaint with the Department of Health and Human Services?
Yes. I've went to the governor, and I've gone to other people. Oh, I went to the Child and Family Ombudsman, and they won't help me.
What about the Department of...
They read my file and immediately side with them because the stuff that's in the file is very fabricated and false, and they're saying a whole bunch of crazy stuff in there. And I have doctors and therapists that are into the corruption as well, twisting everything and making me look horrible, and I can't defend myself if it's just me.
Have you filed a complaint? Have you filed a complaint with the Department of Justice, the Civil Rights Division?
Yes, I have actually. And no one has gotten back to me.
Okay. You know what? I want you to take my phone number down, 888-888-6582. I want you to call my office tomorrow after 12. I know it's Sunday, but somebody will be working. And get my email address. Well, I'll just give it to you now. v.davis at Vincent.
Hold on a second. So it's D.
No. V as in Vincent. Davis at vincentwdavis.com. I want you to email me copies of the complaints you filed with DHHS and the Justice Department Civil Rights Division, and I'll try to assist you anyway.
Had texting. Me and you've been texting back and forth. My brain kind of doesn't work that way. Is there any way that you could text this to me, your email?
Yes, I can. I'll find your text and I will text you. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
Hey, Tamby, thank you for calling. Thank you for listening. And, call us back in about 3 or 4 weeks and let us know what's going on. All right? Okay, ladies, we're going to have to take another break right now. This is The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. We'll be back with more stories, more questions, and right after these messages.